What do you get when you're able to gather ridiculous amounts of consumer data, monitor their behaviors, happen to be in the world's biggest manufacturing country, all while being able to cut out the middleman? Well, you get essentially a startup like Shein, worth over $100 billion. Yeah, billion. Making it worth more than Zara and H&M combined. How is it even still considered a startup at this point? Cause that's laughable. Hi guys, Suki here, a fashion enthusiast and founder of Red Black. Today I'll be discussing how Shein rose to dominance, so I'd like you guys to come along with me. See, fashion has had to change over time to keep up. It's been radically changed by the rise of fast fashion brands like Zara and H&M. They became really good at taking clothes from the runway and mass producing them, and a lot of this was done within as little as 3 weeks. This resulted in very cheap and accessible fashion, and we all know everybody loves cheap and accessible, right? Aye. As time went by, the 2000s saw the rise of ultra fast fashion, and this was pioneered by companies like ASOS, who shortened the production time to as little as a week. Fast forward to today, and we are in an entirely new era called real-time fashion. What this means is that companies are able to produce clothes in as little as 2 to 3 days. Shein, which I'll be discussing, makes around 4,000 new female clothing pieces every single day. That's a mind-blowing amount if you would ask me. As if that wasn't enough, the prices are very cheap, a lot of them going for under $5. Here's a little background on Shein. Shein as a company was founded by Chris Shu. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Let's just call him Chris for the sake of simplicity. Anyways, Chris was a former digital marketer, and he also had experience in SEO, which basically stands for search engine optimization. Also, very little is known about this man, as he really likes to maintain an element of mystery. Now, there's also some sort of debate as to when the company was founded. Shein says 2012, but it truly might date as far back as 2008. Shein started by selling literally everything from knockoff goods to wedding dresses, and with time the business model was refined, resulting in what eventually made Shein the success it is today. To interject briefly, by the way, if you're enjoying this video, getting any sort of value from it, a sub to the channel would be amazing. Thanks. Back to our story. Shein's focus was the e-commerce platform, which is very much similar to the likes of Alibaba. But what it did differently was that, unlike Alibaba, Shein decided to focus entirely outside of China. Instead, it set its eyes on the Western market while utilizing a lot of the marketing strategies used by its Chinese counterparts. Well, the reason Shein had to turn to the West was pretty strategic. It knew there would be far less competition in the West. See, it knew it could outcompete its Western competitors by offering both fast turnaround time and dirt cheap prices. Remember I told you the founder was a digital marketer who also knew a lot about SEO? Well, this was a huge advantage for Shein, as they really understood data and knew how to make use of it. Now, combine this with the fact that China also happens to be a country with very lax privacy laws, and you have yourself a wealth of data to mine, study, and build a thorough algorithm with. Hang with me, we're getting somewhere. The big data analytics system helped Shein to identify emerging trends online, basically by monitoring internet searches and social media posts. When you combine this knowledge with their proximity to manufacturers, you see how they are able to quickly churn out trendy designs and ride the trend wave more effectively than the Western counterparts. Shein was also able to adopt a business model known as the lean model, the model which was first developed by Toyota. And to oversimplify it, it's just a model that eliminates waste by producing just enough supply to meet up with demands. Now, the small batch production meant new styles were being released in as little as 3 days. This is something that would have taken traditional fast fashion a few weeks to turn around. Now, with all I've said so far, it seems like the company is way ahead of the curve and it's nothing but smooth sailing. Like Burna Boy said, nothing but smooth sailing. I hope I don't get a copyright strike. Well, that's far from the truth. Shein has had its fair share of controversies, and a lot of them are actually true. Shein has been called out by small designers for stealing their designs. Now, I want you to picture this. Let's say you're a small Western designer. You spend a few weeks working on a new design. Now imagine launching your design, and shortly after, there are already knockoff versions out there. And to make things worse, they are going for way cheaper on a website like Shein. This, in my opinion, does two things. One, it minimizes the value of the effort you put in. Pretty much your creative effort is nullified. Secondly, it makes it seem like you're out here overcharging people. Basically, people will think you're ripping them off, and this is because they have seen the exact same thing for cheaper elsewhere. Apart from intellectual property theft, the working conditions in Shein's production lines have also been questioned, but since the company itself is shrouded in so much mystery, little is known about its manufacturing process. And lastly, there's also the environmental impact. I'll probably do a separate video on this, so let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see a deep dive into the environmental impact of Shein. Anyways, that has been a brief rundown on the company called Shein and its rise to dominance. If you made it this far through my video, I really appreciate you. You're awesome. Please like and subscribe as this helps with the growth and discoverability of my channel. Also share with someone. Lastly, you see this sweatshirt I have on? It's from my fashion brand called Rare Black. Please check it out. It's linked in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.